What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go through one of my crippling addictions. That crippling addiction being collecting camera gear. People like to spend their money in different ways. Some people like to go on vacations. Some people like to go on trips. Some people like to invest their money or put it into a savings account and never touch it again. Me personally, I just like buying cameras and camera equipment. It has actually gotten completely out of hand, and I thought I would go through a little bit of my collection with you guys today. We're going to start off with the 35mm cameras, because if we sat here and went through the motion picture, medium format, DSLR, everything, we would be here for a very long time. So I thought starting out with my 35mm camera collection would be a good way to kind of showcase my collection and tell the story about how I got the camera, what I think of it, and just some brief notes on each one of these cameras. But there's a lot, so let's just dive into this right away. First up, I got this camera gifted to me from my cousin in Germany. It is a Canon AFS IXUS 35mm point and shoot, really basic. It's like a slide opening. Yeah, nothing too fancy about that, but it was gifted to me from Germany. Next up, we will do this camera. This is called the Sprocket Rocket. It is a panoramic camera, so it takes panoramic images on 35mm film. So essentially wider, just more panoramic, kind of like how you guys see on your iPhone, but this is the old school way to do it. I actually haven't ever used this thing. I probably should. That's another issue, is that I buy these cameras and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna use that, and then I don't touch them. But I never sell them, so there's that. Next up is this, what is this? An Olympus IS1. This camera is dope because it looks like a camcorder, but it is not a camcorder. It is actually a 35mm camera that shoots half frame photos. So that means if you had like a 36 exposure roll of film, you would get twice as many photos on this thing. So this is cool because it just feels different. It looks cool. People ask you about it when you're using it. This is a very, very fun camera, and like half a 35mm frame is like, it still works. Next up, this is called the Camtec. I got this at Goodwill. This is like a piece of throwaway, like garbage camera. Like disposable camera would be better than this, but I thought the packaging was really cool. So it has like people hanging out in the sun. It's very like, I don't know, what is this, 80s? Very like, yeah, the branding's just very cool, and I liked it, so I got it, and it kind of just sits on my shelf as a reminder to why I love film photography. Next up, this one's pretty cool. This is a Pokemon camera. As you guys can see, it is a like themed Pokemon camera. We got Pikachu on there. We got, I believe, Charmander, Blastoise. And they have these gates that you can put in the film, and that actually like changes the photo. You can imprint like Pokemon onto your photos. So this was a fun camera that I picked up off of eBay. Probably peak pandemic I got this one. So yeah, there's a camera. Okay, this is the Pentax IQZoom. I've actually done a video on this camera as the best, most affordable 35mm camera out there that I can recommend. This thing is a beast. It is a monster of a camera. It super sharp, a great on body flash. I've never had like light leaks or any issues with this thing, so if you guys haven't tried this out, you definitely should. Next, we're gonna get into a couple point and shoots. This is my Olympus Stylus. This is the zoom version of the Olympus Stylus, so it's not the nice one, but this thing's still a beast. I really like this camera. It has that clamshell, they call it, clamshell body, where you can just slide open, and it's tactile and it fits in your pocket. It's really durable. So I love this thing. I use it a lot when I go out. Next up is the Olympus Mju. So you guys have probably heard of the Olympus Mju 2. This is the Olympus Mju Panoramic. The cool part about this camera is on the back here, you can switch this button over. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it goes from 35mm normal frames to panoramic frames. And I love this thing. It's same thing, clamshell body, tactile, fits in your pocket, like literally the size of my hand. It's great. I love it. It's really sharp. The lens on this is great. Olympus lens, I don't know, I like it. I love it. It's fun. If you guys have any questions about this, I kind of want to do a whole video on this camera alone in the future, so let me know. Next point and shoot camera. So this is the holy grail of point and shoot cameras. Well, I guess not holy grail, but a lot of people's holy grail. It's the Contax T2. I have some Portra 400 in there. Great film, by the way. I actually keep my batteries out of my point and shoot cameras, especially the electronic ones, because I'm worried that the battery compartment is gonna like get corrosion and break. So I usually go out of my way to take the batteries out when I'm not using these cameras, but this is a super sharp point and shoot camera. Hits focus a lot of the time, and I love Contax. I would love a Contax T3, but as you guys can see, I have a little bit of an outrageous camera collection. Coming up next is another Contax camera. This is the Contax G2. This camera is a rangefinder camera. This was actually made as like a competitor to the Leica M6 or maybe other Leica M's back in the day, but this is an electronic viewfinder. So There is some manual options, but I've actually made a whole video on this camera. I love it. It is one of my favorite cameras of all time. The only issue is that it's very, very electronic. So if it breaks, it's like really hard to fix and very expensive. It missed focus for a while for me, but I started figuring out that if I use the back button on this thing, it hit way better. So I don't know why that is, but yeah, Contax G2, great camera. This is like one of my favorites of all time. Next up, let's go with this. This is called the Fed 3. This is a Russian camera or a Soviet camera. It was made to rival the Leica series. It just looks cool. There's like Russian writing on it. The shutter sounds pretty good. Pretty nice, pretty satisfying. The only issue that I think I have with this camera is that I think the lens is radioactive. So I do have some like yellow tinting on the lens, but other than that, it still works. All these cameras work. And yeah, the shutter's like so mechanical, just feels so like Soviet. I don't know. It's very like, if I needed to kill someone with this, I could. Another 35mm SLR that I love is the Nikkormat. This is a camera that was actually gifted to me by a family friend. It's like super dented because it got stuck. He was taking it on a flight and it got stuck in like, yeah, I don't know. I think I might have just broke it. Oh, wait, is there film in here? No shot. But yeah, that's the Nikon Nikkormat. Pretty legendary SLR, I'm pretty sure. After that, I got the Nikon FE, which is another Nikon SLR camera, similar to the Canon AE-1, which is the next camera on the list. So Canon AE-1, Nikon FE, pretty much the same camera, different bodies. At least I think they're the same camera. The AE-1's dope. This was like the first beginner film camera I ever got. This is my first film camera ever. I love this thing. It's been with me for a very, very long time and I will never get rid of it. Pretty beast of an SLR camera. Yeah, AE-1, you've heard of it if you know about film photography. This is the Minox 35GL. It's technically a rangefinder. It's really, really compact and tiny. My cousin also sent me this from Germany and it's in really, really, really good condition. So yeah, this is a cool camera. It's super tiny, compact, fits in your pocket. And I think it's mainly used for street photography, but I've never even put a roll through it because I am a camera hoarder and I need to use them more. What else do we got? What else do we got? Okay, this one's pretty cool. This is a knockoff Leica. It's an orange Leica, which is very, very strange. It actually has like Leica branding on it, which is very, very weird. It just says Berlin, 1936. Yeah, I got this thing from Germany as well. I think it's an actual Fed 3, the Russian Soviet camera. It's like the same body. It's orange and it's cool. And I like that one. And that's in my collection as well. Okay, last but not least, we have my favorite camera. This is my holy grail of 35mm cameras. It is a Leica M6 TTL with a Summilux 35mm lens on it. So a 1.4 lens on it. And yeah, this thing, I mean, if you guys have watched any YouTube videos on Leica systems, I love this camera. It's tactile, it's sleek. People actually don't think that this is like an expensive camera unless they're in the know, which I love because that means it's another photographer, and usually another photographer is not going to try to steal your camera, hopefully. So I think this is a very, very fun camera to have with me all the time. I take a lot of family photos, take it on trips, take it everywhere. So yeah, like I said, that is my 35mm film camera collection. Honestly, I have more to show you, but I think I'm going to cut it off there because the other ones are like novelty cameras, and maybe I'll get into a whole nother video about that. If you guys would like to see a specific video about a specific camera that I showed you guys here, I would love to do one on that. So just let me know. And thank you guys for following the channel. Thank you for commenting, liking, subscribing, the whole thing. It's greatly appreciated. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye.